All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get straight into this video. Ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about FXIFY, you guys. And I just want to do a quick overview with this company because I have been looking into it. Right, I have been looking into this company. I did use them before, but it was a long time ago. So one of the first things I like to do when it comes to prop firms, finding a good prop firm to use, there's a couple different tools I use. I use TrustPilot, right? So we can look at their reviews on TrustPilot. And then we can also, I like to find prop firms using a website called propfirmmatch.com, right? So I go on propfirmmatch.com, see if there's anything new. And then, on this website, you can see how long a lot of these companies have been around. You can get some very basic information on prop firms, right? How long they've been around, how many years, like your max allocation, what platforms they allow you to trade on, stuff like that. And you can look at both Forex and futures, right? That is not a affiliate. That is just something that I use to find prop firms. And then the other thing I like to do is go on Trustpilot. And if they have a warning sign right off the rip, I just don't even use them. That was actually one of the reasons why I recently dropped Funder Pro. It wasn't because they screwed me over or anything like that. But one thing that I was struggling with Funder Pro was like their stop losses were like every time it got triggered, it would always stop you out for like way more than what you was supposed to be stopped out for, right? So let's take a quick look at FXIFY. This is a prop firm company. They do offer Forex and crypto accounts, right? So for Forex, they do have one phase account, two phase, three phase, instant funding, and they have an account type that's called Lightning Assessment. So that's one thing I like right off the rip, right? I really do enjoy when companies have multiple accounts for people to choose from instead of just forcing them to have a futures account or forcing them to do crypto or anything like that or forcing them to do a one step, right? I love when companies give you the options to choose which account type you want to use, right? Then they have, a 5K, they have 10K, 15K, 25K, 50K, 100K, 200K, and 400K accounts, right? That's only with the one-step assessment. So the one-step assessment do give you a variety account, right? If you click on the two-step accounts, you can only go up to 100K in funding with the two-step, right? But they do offer you a static drawdown and a trailing drawdown. This is one of my favorite account types, right? I like the two-step static drawdown. Sometimes I don't mind doing a three-step either, right? Now I did look into a little bit of the information prior to this video. So one thing I could tell you right now that I don't like about their three-step assessment is that they only give you a 5% max drawdown, but they give you a 5% target, right? So it's not that bad, but it's not something that I really like. I like to have, the 10% overall drawdown with the, 8% target for the phase one or the 5% target for the phase two or 10% for the phase one or 5% for the phase two, right? Those are typically the two-step accounts that I like the most, right? And then for their platforms, they have DX Trade and they have Trading View. Now, I don't really like DX Trade. The last time I used DX Trade, I really didn't have that good of a experience with it. I don't think it's too horrible. I just didn't really like it myself, right? I was using it on the laptop and it felt a bit clunky and a bit slow to me, so I really didn't like that. But I did go on their YouTube channel and I looked up the video where you can connect your trading view to, your prop firm account. I think that's a really good touch, right? Like this one feature alone puts this company like in the top tier for me because I'm really excited to try that out. And the reason why is because mostly I like to use companies that have Trade Locker, but because I only have I have multiple devices where I manage multiple prop firm accounts with, so it's better for like some companies to use MT5, some companies use Trade Locker, right? Another company may use, C Trader, right? But I don't really like C Trader that much, at least as of now, because they don't really have a good mobile app, right? So Trade Locker has a really good mobile app. Even like Trader Vape doesn't really have a good mobile app, right? You pretty much have to be like on at least an iPad if you're going to trade on Trader Vape. So FXIFY having trading view, that's a feature that I really love a lot, right? And then they have raw spreads, and then they have commissions, right? You can select one of these add-ons, and then for payouts they do a 80-10 split, right? But you can increase the split to a 90-10 split for an additional 20% on the account, right? And then they do have biweekly payouts for an additional price as well. Outside of that, there will be monthly payments, and then they have a performance protection. Now, I do like this as well because this is going to protect your account, but that's not something that I feel like I need, but that is something that you guys can look into if you feel it's necessary, right? And then if you click on this box down here, little chat box, you can go to view our frequently asked questions. And then from here, this is where you can go to pretty much find all of the information about FXFI, right? So you can go to, crypto accounts. If you're interested in crypto, they do have that. I have not tried out any of the crypto accounts yet, but I was looking into it. It is something that, I am open to trying out, but I just haven't looked into it just yet. I'm just trying to pretty much stick to what works for me until I get like extra money to where I can, buy more accounts and do different things, right? So I pretty much gave you guys a quick overview of some of the things you want to know when looking into this prop firm company, right? Now you guys can go over other, account types. Me, I mostly just looked at the two-step and the one-step. I looked at the three-step. They do have instant funding as well, right? Let's go back and look at their instant funding model. All right. So for their instant funding model, they have account types. They have a 1K account, 2.5K account, 5K account, 10K, 25, 50, 75, and 100K account, right? And all of you can see these prices here. All right, and I don't have a custom coupon. I don't have a custom coupon code with this company yet. But if you guys want to support this channel, you guys can sign up using the link that will be in the description below. And that's going to be the best way to support this channel, right? So they do have instant funded accounts. It seemed like they have a daily loss of 8% and then a max trailing drawdown of 8%, right? So that's not really that bad compared to some of the other companies I have seen. Then you can get up to 100K account. Now these accounts are pretty pricey, right? They want 4,300 pretty much, and that's without the discount. With a discount, it'll be about a $3,000 account, right? So that is pretty pricey, and that's why this wouldn't be something that I would recommend, especially if you were just getting into, the prop firm space. If you was just starting to trade, these accounts are very expensive, right? I always tell people if you're going to use prop firms, like if you're new to prop firms, the best account for you is likely going to be a two-step account, right, or a two-phase account. And then you want to start small, right? Start with the cheapest account. This account right here is only $42, right, for a 5K account, right? Or you can get you a 10K account for $63. That way, you can get a ton of experience with, trading this account without really risking too much money, right? So you guys can see with their two-step account, right, their profit target is going to be 5% for the phase one. And then for the phase two is going to be 10%, right? Now, I don't know why they do it that way. Normally, it's the opposite, right? Phase one is 10% and phase two is 5%, but I don't know why they do it that way. Right? But their overall daily loss limit is 4%, and then the max loss limit is 10%. So that's pretty standard. And then they don't have a consistency rule for the two-step account as well, which is also something that I really do like. Right? So this is just a quick overview of FXify, you guys. And then they have the Lightning Assessment Program, which for a 100K account is $280, so that's not that bad. So obviously, if your 100K account is going to cost this much, obviously there's going to be some type of catch to it, right? So the profit target is 5%, the daily loss is 3%, the max trailing loss is 4%, right? And the maximum trading days is 5 days, the minimum trading days is 3 days, right? They do have a 30% consistency rule. So far, in my opinion, that is the catch to this account. That 30% consistency rule can indeed make it a little bit harder for you to pass that challenge, but it will also force you to be, consistent, right? So this is not really a bad program either, but it's not really something that I will purchase over the two-step account, right? The two-step account, for me at least, would be, the best account that I see so far, right? You can get you a 100K account for $385 essentially. That's pretty much one of the cheapest 100K accounts you can possibly have. And that's in the market right now, especially when it comes to being with a company that's actually somewhat credible. Now, they do have a 4.4 review on TrustPilot, right? But one thing that I do like is that they do have a ton of reviews, right? They almost have 5,300 reviews, and their overall rating is pretty good. So I think that says a lot to have that many ratings and to still have, a really good score. Now we can start off looking at some of the bad reviews. Me, when I'm looking at reviews, the first thing I want to do is like I want to like hear about the payout reviews. A lot of people, when they complain about prop firm companies, they always talk about like customer service, which is important as well. But I think the biggest question is this company going to pay you out when it's time for you to get paid out, right? So like this guy right here, he have said that he have been waiting for a payout for over a week now, and there's still no update. Their support team keeps giving me generic excuses. This is very frustrating and unprofessional. I would not recommend FXIFY to anyone looking for a reliable platform, right? And this was just 18 hours ago. And then FXIFY replied and said that we were unable to identify your FXIFY account through your TrustPilot username. We have invited you to share FXIFY account details in order to look into this further for you, right? So, that's kind of conflicting already because he's saying that he can't get anybody to respond, but on TrustPilot, they're already responding. So, we don't really know, you know, maybe it's just his experience. We don't, sometimes these companies do have bad customer service, right? Very disappointing experience from Ashley Woods. She says that the rules are unclear and evaluation feels unclear. Customer service was slow and not helpful. I would not recommend this platform. So for me personally, you guys, I did sign up with this company, and I, my experience was already a little bit different. Like customer service was responding to me like extremely fast. I'm actually shocked to read that these people aren't having a good time with the customer service because I was getting like responses very fast. So either way, what I typically do is I'll go here and I'll read some of these comments, right? Because, if people are only complaining about customer service, right, that's not that bad. Sometimes you do have to wait a little bit when you're working with these prop firm companies. But it's the payouts that's going to worry me the most. If too many people are complaining and saying that they're not getting their payout, that is something that's going to make me like not really want to work with a company, right? So like this guy, Muhammad Umar says, scam company, I requested my 2200 withdrawal, and after 1 week they terminated my account and refused to give me my withdrawal, right? So obviously, we don't really know how true all of these things are, but a lot of people are complaining about no support or payout, and these are fairly new complaints, right? So then we can look at some of the two-star complaints as well. I think those are important to look at as well. More people complaining about their support, all right? And then we can look at some of the better ratings, right? So let's just go to the 4 stars and the 5 stars. And then I guess we can keep the 3 stars on there as well, right? So this one really doesn't say much. It says quick and professional, really, really reliable. I'm sorry, really affordable prices and so many plans. That is something that I told you guys I really enjoy myself. And then they said, great service, one of the best crypto exchanges. My experience with FXify has been very well, right? So when it comes to some of these responses, you guys, I wouldn't doubt if some companies use bots, right? That is something that Trustpilot do try to crack down on, and that's typically what will like get you a warning on Trustpilot is if you try to like use bots to give you reviews. Once they find out about that, they're going to warn people that this company is trying to do something malicious, right, to increase their ratings. So right here somebody says excellent support team. This was literally just 7 hours ago. The service is outstanding. That was 11 hours ago, right? So sometimes, these ratings can be conflicting. Sometimes you have to be patient, right? Sometimes companies respond to you right away. Sometimes it may take a week. Sometimes it may take 2 weeks, right? You just never know how busy their servers are, right? So overall, I think the ratings are good. I wish we could see more ratings about the payouts for the 5 stars. That's the only thing that's a little bit concerning. People are talking about infrastructure and, stuff like that. I really don't care, right? You see this rating right here. It says when it's time to pay. Honestly, the support chat was on point with responding and being cooperative. The only thing that I didn't like was that I wasn't aware that the process would take that long to receive my payout. When I received my first payout from another prop firm, it was sent to me instantly through via Bitcoin. So I have to understand on my end that going through the whole process of me adding more information to get paid was frustrating. I rocks with y'all and I see you guys mean business, but for any up and coming new traders may not like this prop firm or even in an advanced or intermediate trader because it felt like a scam for real. Right. So this person is pretty much saying that like it felt like a scam because he had to wait so long to get his payout, right? And that can be something that's very frustrating. Nobody wants to wait all day to get their payout. All right. So these are the actual reviews of people who have used the accounts because me, I just, you know, decided to start using this company again. Like I said, I did use them before in the past, but I wasn't able to receive a payout back in those days. But back in those days, I had no problem with them. I know they went through like some turbulence at one point. I forgot exactly what happened, but they kind of fell off and then they had to come back a little bit. So that's always a red flag as well. But honestly, like the account types is good. Their overall reviews are pretty good. So I think that this could definitely be a company that I eventually want to try out. Um, we can look at a couple more of their FAQ questions because one of the other things that you want to be aware of when you're looking to, trust a prop firm company is you want to be aware of all of the rules, right? You heard some people complaining about the rules. Um, so far, based on what I've seen, I haven't really seen any crazy rules, right? They do allow you to copy trade, right? But you can only copy trade with their accounts. And I believe you can have up to about 400K worth of funding with FXIFY. And then they do have a scaling plan, right? They have the Performance Protect, which is a feature designed to safeguard the funded trader's account, right? So I think that's pretty cool. A lot of companies do not have that, and I always wonder why don't companies have some type of safeguard for people. I know like Tradeify, they have that as well. I mean, not Tradeify, but Tradeavape has that for like the futures accounts, right? So they do have the static drawdown for the two. They have all of this information on here, right? The drawdown for the 2 and 3 step accounts. So it's tons of information on here. You just have to go in here and make sure you're aware of all of the most important information, right? Daily loss limits, right? So payouts. Let's go to payouts. What is the minimum withdrawal for all account types? The minimum withdrawal is $50, so that's pretty good. If you're based in Ukraine, where Rise is not available, we can process payouts via crypto payments, so that's pretty cool. Um, so I told you guys they have DX Trade, and then they also have Trade in View. How do you request a payout? Log into the dashboard, log into your account, and then go and request a payout. So that's pretty simple, right? So everything seems to be, pretty simple. And then they give you all of the information on the different account types that they have. If you guys want to go in there and read more about that. Um, but everything seems pretty simple and straightforward with this company so far, at least, right? So the only way for me to know for sure is that I'm going to eventually have to buy an account and then I can give you guys my assessment, right? But they do have futures account as well, right? So they do have FX futures over here. we could take a quick look at their FX futures, right? So let's take a quick look at their plans. They have a standard plan. All right, so now they want me to log in. Let me go back because I'm not going to log in. I just want to see if I can, let's see if it's under this section right here where it says how it works. Okay, account size. So they have many different account sizes. They have a 50K, 100K, and 150K for their standard plan, and it looks to be about $90 a month for the 50K, 150 for the 100K, and $225 dollars for the 150K account, right? So they have different account types for you over here, right? It seems like they have a really good analytics um, system for the dashboard. I do like that a lot. So this definitely seems like a company I'm definitely going to be working with in the future because I like the way they have everything set up. It's very organized. You know, everything looks very professional. Um, and they offer you some really good, you know, discounts, right? So let me see. So they have a futures program as well. I'm trying to learn more there. They have an expert plan. The expert plan has a profit target of about 6%. Daily loss limit seems to be about 2%. So, you know, that's one of the reasons why I don't really like a lot of futures accounts myself because I feel like they don't really give you that much drawdown. But for those of you who know how to manage futures accounts, this could be something that, you know, you're interested in, right? They have a direct to sim live account, right? They have a one step, and then they have this their standard plan for the futures, right? So let me see. And then last but not least, they have crypto. And then for their crypto, they have a crypto phase, one phase assessment, and they have a crypto instant funding program, right? So for the one phase, that do go up to 100K account, right? They don't have the trading view for the crypto. You can only use DX trade. And then we'll have to like learn more to see like what assets you can trade, but they also have the instant funding with crypto as well. And the most you can get with that is a 100K account, and that's around $2,000. And you can only use DX trade, right? Then you can go back to the FAQ section around here, and anything you want to know about the crypto accounts, all you have to do is go to the FAQ and then start reading a little bit about what they offer for these crypto accounts as well, right? I don't really trade crypto, at least right now, but they do have a list of all of the instruments you can trade with crypto. You can trade 1inch, Aave, ADA, right? The list goes on and on. Compound, Tether, you know, everything. It seems like Ethereum, Polkadot, right? Flamingo, the Graph, Filecoin, Ethereum Classic, right? So it seems like their list is very huge, right? So it's not that's not a problem. It seems like they give you a lot of flexibility with the crypto accounts, right? So they do offer you an 80% profit split even with the crypto account as well. So I think that's pretty cool. Day trading crypto is not something that I have gotten into just yet, at least not with the, well, just not in general, but not with the prop firm accounts either. So it is something that I may consider one day in the future. But as of now, I'm just focusing on trading the NASDAQ with my prop firm accounts, you guys. So um, some of the strategies that are prohibited, that's always something that you want to be aware of. Um, it don't really seem like they have too many things to say about, you know, prohibited strategies, which is also another good sign, right? Because when companies have too many like little baby rules where they can nitpick at you and then reject your payouts and do all of those things, those are typically the companies you're going to want to stay away from, all right? So this is a quick video, you guys, about FXIFY. I do think this is going to be a really good company. If you guys have used them before, make sure you guys drop a comment down below and let me know what is your experience, right? Help my audience understand your experience because you know, just because I'm an affiliate, that doesn't mean that when I actually buy my account, you guys know me. I'm going to give you guys the real experience. All right. If they finesse me on a payout, if they do something sketchy, I'm going to tell you guys everything that's going on, right? Because it does not benefit me to lie to you guys just so that you guys can use my sign up link or to use my coupon code, right? That doesn't do anything for me. I care more about my audience, and I'm going to prioritize being transparent with you guys over anything else, you guys. So that's the video, you guys. I appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure y'all drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'm going to be keeping you guys updated more about this prop firm, all right? Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.